Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. But without the Prima strategy guide, how are we going to get through this episode? It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including Mr. Game & Watch becoming a little less offensive. And then on Thursday, we are going to be celebrating our 200th episode. Mark, can you believe it?
I cannot, but should we do we need to qualify it a little bit where it's like it is truly 200, but it's not like we've been doing it for 200 weeks.
Oh, I mean, that is definitely true. Oh, so, we do 2 episodes a week now. Back in the day, we didn't used to do 200 episodes, but then sometimes we did these, like, mini play-along episodes where we would play a game and, like, check in every, like, world or 2 worlds or whatever. Or in the case of Zelda, like, after 2 dungeons or whatever. This will be the 200th thing that we've put out as Nintendo Cartridge Society,
Which is still worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
Are we tempting fate a little bit? Because usually we record both episodes on the same day.
That's right.
We're not doing that this week. And not that 199 isn't an achievement.
Right.
But like, should something happen between the 199th and the 200th?
Are we cursing? Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. So we are recording this one on Saturday.
That's right.
Because I'm going to Disney World tomorrow, and Mark is Disneyland. I apologize.
You could be going cross country.
I'm not.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll be out of town
on Monday. So we are recording this a little bit ahead of time, and then we will be doing our special 200th episode.
Spectacular.
And what are we doing for that? It's a little bit of a secret, and it's a little bit of we don't have it totally planned yet. But it'll be good, whatever it is, Mark. It'll be good.
Do you know what'd be really cool to celebrate our 200th episode?
No.
People friending us on Switch.
Oh my god, I love being friended on Switch. You can do it very easily by using our friend codes, because there's literally no other way to do it. Unless you've played like Super Mario Run with us or something.
I guess if you follow us on Twitter and no, that wouldn't work because I don't know.
You would, well, no, you could, because you would just follow us individually on Twitter.
Yes.
And not the show on Twitter.
No, because the show is tied to...
I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell. The show is at Nincart Society. One of us might be tied to Nincart.
I am for sure. I am for sure.
So use our friend codes. They're in the episode description. That is perfect. Mark, we've got some guest weather we need to get to today.
That's right, because this person left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Yep. So this guest weather is requested by the Apple Podcast username is 188488:8 open parentheses KKREEDCV.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Right off the tongue. Super easy to say. No big deal. Normal, Illinois. Seems like it's cold in Normal. Like sub 30 degrees. And we're recording this during the day. So it's cold. It's cold in Normal.
Big ups to everybody in Normal, Illinois. The biggest of ups to everybody who leaves us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
I went to school with a girl who played cello in a band with me, who grew up in Bloomington, Normal, which is all like that same area.
Bloomington, Illinois?
Yeah. And Normal, Illinois.
Oh, gotcha.
They're
I
like,
understand.
They're like one.
Oh, I understand. I understand what you were doing now.
They're like twin
yes.
cities. Bloomington, Normal,
Sure.
Blue-Nor, we used to call it. So if
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Sure. It's not quite twin cities necessarily. And it's not the Quad Cities, which is a different thing in Illinois. Mark, let's move past this. We do want to draw attention to our listener, Adam Gooding, wrote in and asked us to plug his Movember. And so we're doing that because we're good guys. He says, my name is Adam Gooding, and I am participating in raising money for Movember. Movember is an annual event involving the growing of mustaches during the month of November to raise awareness for men's health issues, such as prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's suicide. His target goal is at 1,000 Australian dollars. Below is a link to my donation page. It goes like this. This will also be in the episode description. https://mobro.co/AdamGooding14. So if you're gonna kick in for any of these, why not have it be Adam's?
Yeah, a fellow NCS listener.
Right. And hey, suicide's no good. So like, let's stop that. Wonderful. Mark, this has very little to do with men's health or suicide. You can borrow my copy of Sonic Forces if you would like. And all you got to do is email your address to Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. It is out in the wild right now. I got an email this morning saying it was received. So it's good. People are enjoying the fact that Sonic Forces is in their house, I guess.
I think it's just fun to get things in the mail.
It is. It's a ton of fun to get something in the mail. I'm delighted every time it comes back to me in the mail. We are also cooking up another like big topic show that we will need you all to write in for, but more details on that as it develops. In the meantime, if you heard like 20 minutes of our top 8 NES games episode,
and then it just like cut off right when I was really going to get in about Duck Hunt.
Right as Mark started getting heated about Duck Hunt, you should go back and try to re-download it because we had a little bit of a technical error,
an oopsie,
a poopsie doodle, and it has since been fixed. So thank you for your patience and go back and check it out.
And for giving us the heads up.
Right, yes, because a lot of you, look, I woke up on Thursday morning to a lot of messages from on a lot of different platforms, people being like, hey, did you mean to stop just as Mark is getting heated up about Duck Hunt? And let me assure you, if Mark is railing about Duck Hunt, I'm going to get it on tape, and I'm going to put it out to the world.
An NCS promise.
All right, Mark, let's get into what we have, what we've been playing this week. Okay, first things first, you brought Diablo 3 over to my house today. We were going to, you were going to come over and we were going to start recording at 1 o'clock. It is presently almost 4. So we have been playing Diablo 3 for a little bit.
We did same screen co-op, which I had never done before, and so that was a lot of fun. I guess when I talked about Diablo 3 the first time, this game is endless. It is a time suck, like a mindless. You become a drone.
You absolutely do. There was a time while we were playing that I looked up to. There's a clock above the TV in my apartment. And looked up and I was like, oh my God, have we been playing this for an hour and a half? Like the time just melted away like meat off the bone in a slow roast barbecue.
But one thing that was really fun is we booted it up, both set our characters, got in, and when you get to like the first town, like 5 minutes into the game, probably less than that, there is a mailbox, and my mailbox was full of gifts from Cyber22.
So thank you, Cyber. It made our experience a little bit more fun. But also, this game seems easy, right?
Yeah, we had at no point were we in danger of dying.
Right. At one point, I was spending too much time standing in lava that a creature was standing behind, or was leaving behind, and that brought my health pretty low. But not even that low. It's like to half, maybe.
I'm trying to remember, do you remember dying a lot in Diablo? In either of the first 2 games?
I remember dying a lot in the original Diablo, yeah. Or like reaching areas pretty easily where I was being swarmed by monsters that I couldn't deal with.
We were also playing on normal in the first chapter of the game.
Two of us co-op. Yeah, so I mean it's possible. Plus, I mean I don't mean to brag, but we're like really good
Oh yeah, sorry. We left that part out.
Right.
We're amazing at this game.
I have also been playing the Messenger. Mark, I guess you have also been playing a little bit more. When last we spoke, where about in the game were you?
So I towards the end, or what I'm assuming is the end, the game stops becoming linear and becomes a Metroidvania type experience.
Yeah.
And I had progressed like a little bit in that.
Yeah.
And then this morning, I booted it up to play some more. I was like, I actually don't really care for this Metroidvania take on this game. I liked when it was linear.
So I think that was my initial response to when it started doing that. and I had only like gotten just to the 16-bit portion last week. But when it first kind of clicked over to the more open world, or not open world, but like Metroidvania version of itself, I also resisted it for a second. But as soon as I got like the sort of feel for what like why you're spit back out into the world, and like how to sort of systematically go through all the areas and find the green talismans and all the like individual special items that unlock stuff and like the new areas that you can discover. I I got like super excited about it.
Yeah, I feel a little bit aimless, which
Yeah,
I hate.
that's how I started for sure. But like what I did at first was just like go to an area and just start to try to find all of the green talismans and like level up because you have new upgrades when you make it Metroidvania, and like just level up those the one like navigation ones that are like mark this on your map, mark this on your map. Just get all of those.
Oh, okay.
And then the game it's still like open, but you have a lot more guidance and you can see like different areas that you need to go to on the map. I'm pulling up the map like every
Yeah, like I'm not even sure what exactly it is I'm supposed to be doing. Like I know that my end goal is to get music notes, but it's like am I getting one from each of those little portals, or like what is the deal?
Right. So it's kind of like the quest structure is like go out and find the music notes and like you don't know where they are, but it sort of slowly reveals itself as like okay, but you're also looking for these little guys that build the bridge so you can get to like this
Okay, I was wondering about that.
fortress.
Like, do you get like additional like items or anything?
Yeah, so
okay.
different items,
Okay.
additional abilities, and like I said, you unlock more areas on them. So like there's I don't want to like give anything away too much because there were like areas as I was unlocking them that felt like that since it is a Metroidvania style game, felt like the moment in Super Metroid when you bomb the when you do a power bomb in like the tube and then suddenly you're in Meridia. It just like the game has so much more in it than I originally thought as I was like running through it in a very linear fashion. And like I'm still getting to those areas where it is like a really tight platforming, like you need to really understand the messenger's mobility and like switching out from like hitting an enemy and like jumping and using like the grappling hook or the
Whatever they call it.
the game told me it made fun of me as saying that you're just going to call it a grappling hook anyway. But yeah, I think I think it's phenomenal and so smart. Like it feels like it is it's like in Resident Evil Code Veronica when you're in this like sciencey facility and you get to the bottom and you enter a replica of the Spencer Mansion from the first game, right? Or like in Metal Gear Solid 4 when you go back to Shadow Moses. Like the game creates its own sense of history and then you're revisiting those spaces like under like new context and like where the game is a different game. So it's really neat and really cool in that regard. And I would urge you to go back to it and like
Yeah, that's encouraging because when we talked about it last week, I was totally high on it.
Yeah.
And then trying to like progress a little bit further, I was not really enjoying myself. So, but I hadn't picked up any of those like map navigation upgrades because I was really aiming for that reduced damage one.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the reduced damage one is nice. But like get all the navigation ones because a lot of the things that the game ends up like pointing you towards are those like kind of spires of just like crystal where you just like hack away at it for a while. And the more you explore, obviously the faster you get those things. So I feel like I'm nowhere near actually like finishing it. I still have maybe like 3 or 4 music notes to go. But like I have all the upgrades and I have had them all for a while. And yeah, man, I really like the Messenger. Really good game. Thinks it. I was gonna say I think it holds up, but like I think if you can stay with it through its transition, there's like a second excellent game in there. I've also been playing a little bit of Super Mario Brothers 2. I don't
On your 3DS?
No, on the NES Classic.
Oh, gotcha.
And I don't really have too much to say about it other than I was thinking that it would be fun to try to like somehow limit the number of times you could choose the same character, or like you can't pick the same character twice in a row or something like that. Like I think there are fun ways that you could like restrict your experience of Super Mario Brothers 2 to make it more fun or fresher. Because like I don't know, I feel like I know what characters I like to use in each level. And if I want to just like coast over something, I'm just like, I'll just be the princess the whole time. And maybe it's a little more fun to mix it up. Anyway, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Man, it came so fast. I can't believe it's already November 13th, and Riding Stable: My Life with Horses is here.
Riding Stable: My Life with Horses is here, but so too is the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, which is a game I'm not going to play.
Hey, me too. Tomorrow, November 14th, you got Metroid, Mighty Bomb Jack, and Twinbee coming to the NES Switch Online.
That's exciting that we're getting another set of new games. Do you think that we will get another surprise SP version of an NES game?
Kind of hope so, because I don't care about any of these games.
Now, you straight don't care about Metroid? Or like you have a way to play it already anyway, so it doesn't really matter?
I mean, for people who listen to our top 8 NES games of all time episode, I don't think Metroid's very fun.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'd love it. I'd love if there's an SP Metroid, like we talked about, that had, or this listener suggested, that had a map.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Would be perfect.
And then I looked up what Mighty Bomb Jack was, because I wasn't familiar with it.
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm also not familiar with Mighty Bomb Jack or Twinbee. Like, these are both
right. So Twinbee's a like vertical scrolling shooter.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I guess you still call that a shmup.
Anything can be a shmup if you believe.
And that looks fine. It's from Konami, so the music is okay. But Mighty Bomb Jack, I looked up, and it's a.
Would you say the music is not okay?
It's not okay. It's a platformer, and the with the how there's like a lot of 8-bit NES games that I guess they're supposed to be fun and childlike and for children, and the music reflects that in the most like grating, aggravating way possible by sounding like those,
like an ice cream truck.
Yeah, or like a grocery store 25-cent
oh sure,
merry-go-round.
Right, or like the little rocket ship that just like goes back and
yeah. And so I looked up a YouTube video of what Mighty Bomb Jack was, and Mighty Bomb Jack is the perfect example of terrible, unlistenable NES music.
It's funny you should say unlistenable, because we're about to make people listen to it. Here we go, Mighty Bomb Jack. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
I mean, you're like, for 10 seconds, whatever, you can deal with it. As the ice cream truck drives by, you're fine.
Right.
But could you imagine listening to that on a constant loop for however long it takes to beat this game? No, thank you.
I can't imagine listening to it for a full minute. So we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop listening to it right here and now. Look, they're not all classic soundtracks.
They're not all classic soundtracks. They're not all classic games. What's going on here? Why is it on my NES Switch Online?
It's just there, though. There's nothing you can do
about it. There's nothing I can do about it.
It's like that U2 record. It's just on your phone.
And then on November 16th, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is out, including the Pokeball Plus. I have my Pokeball Plus coming on Friday. I have downloaded my copy of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I am ready for this.
That's very exciting. I have Super Smash Brothers Ultimate sitting on my Switch right now. Also preloaded. And I didn't realize it was going to be a preload thing when I bought it ahead of time. I thought it was just going to be like that I would be able to preload it later, but I have the whole game on there.
Yeah.
I just can't play it. Every now and then I will like click on it and it'll be like, I've got to check online to see if you can play this. I'm like, okay, do it. And every time it's like, you can't play this yet. I'm like, you're right.
Also on Friday, Sid Meier's Civilization 6 is released on Switch, and Nintendo's releasing a Super Mario party bundle that comes with 2 Joy-Con. It's like a neon green and neon yellow.
Yellow, yeah. Do you know what that's priced at?
No, not off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up because
Joy-Cons themselves are expensive. It's
right.
$80 for a pair.
Right. So is this like $120, $140, like that?
Yeah, if it is like $80 or $90, I guess that's a really good deal.
Okay, looking it up, Super Mario Party Joy-Con bundle. Oh boy, it does look like it's expensive.
So this is not like a Wii Party situation.
No, it seems like this. Yeah, or like yeah. Was it Wii Party? Was that the name of the
Wii Play?
Yeah, maybe it was Wii Play. This is boring and bad.
I feel like the internet should provide this information
it should,
freely.
It should supply it a little bit more easily. I'm unable to find it now, and it doesn't matter because I already bought Super Mario Party, so it's not as though I'm going to buy it again. But if it was like $100 or something, I would feel a little bit like, oh, why didn't you?
Well, then let's not look it up. Let's just like say that it's $200. Yeah, it's like $200.
It's like $900.
It's a ripoff. Don't buy that.
Why would I do that? All right, Mark. That's what we might be playing next week because it's new releases. What am I doing? Let's close out of this segment.
Diablo 3 has just like melted your
melted
brain.
My brain. But now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today we are talking about shaving. We're both men with facial hair. I have a mustache and like stubble, or it's a little bit longer right now. You've got like a tight beard. What do you think about shaving? Do you like doing it?
My current like shaving regimen is on Sunday I trim my beard and like clean my neck, and then
once a week.
And then I don't, and then it's just like a slow decline into slothdom,
right?
Until the next Sunday,
I guess
when I like walk into work Monday morning,
right? Fresh as the daisy,
fresh and new.
This I guess tracks because I'm used to seeing you on Monday evenings. When you are fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, I look terrible today because I'm at the end of the cycle. I'm a mess.
I think I need to get on a cycle. Like right now, if there is something coming up where I'm like, oh, I want to look nice, then I will trim up the like beard part, or the mustache part. But the mustache part has to be much longer than the beard part. Beard part, I go all the way down to a 2 on the old clippers. If I go at the mustache at all, like 11, right? Usually I like to go at it with scissors, and then clean up around the neck. And look, I get hairs on my face in high on the cheeks. High up on my cheeks, I will get hairs that don't belong. And there are 2 pretty persistent hairs on the tip of my nose that I do a fairly good job of either mowing down when I see them or tweezing them out, but they come back.
Yeah, I have hair that likes to grow on the very tip of top tip of my ear.
What?
Yeah, and so I'll be like, it's like almost like an eyebrow that is misplaced.
It's just really far over.
Yeah, like
eyebrow.
A single brow strand.
Right.
That is just like got lost on its way.
Let's assume that is an eyebrow. Do you do any other eyebrow maintenance?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you have to do?
I'll take a good old pluck up the middle. And then comb straight up and then trim with scissors.
Oh, okay.
Any brows that are higher than the other.
See, what I'll do when I want to address the brows is, so I don't really get like a middle of the face brows, so I don't really tweeze down the middle. But sometimes one eyebrow will go rogue.
Oh, sure,
be
yeah.
Like an inch longer than the rest of them. So I'll just sort of push against the grain and that'll make like the longer ones sort of like stand at attention, and then I tweeze them. And I tweeze them instead of cutting them because I feel like I need to make an example of them.
Do you tweeze from the bottom up?
What do you mean?
Well, starting from like right above your like the lower brow, and then tweezing towards the top.
I guess I still don't know what you mean.
Well, I mean, just like your order of
anything that's out of line.
Your order of operations.
Well, the thing is, I usually don't have to do more than like one or two.
Okay.
At a time.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you graying? Do you your hair like you seem like you are not graying very much? Do you?
I gray more in my beard than I do anywhere else. If my beard grows out into like a real beard, you will see gray. Or if you look at like the like hair shaving residue, you will see gray hairs, brown hairs, and blonde hairs. Like my beard doesn't know what color my hair is, which is insane.
I've been getting gray hair since I was like 24.
Yeah, but your gray is like in the perfect place and looks great.
But here's the funny thing about it.
It's just on the sides of your head.
But here's what's like funny about it is that the gray hair obviously has like a different texture.
Yes.
Than the hair that still has like the brown color, and it will stand to like the side if I don't like if I like sleep on it funny.
Yeah,
right.
It's a little
like
bit wiry,
and I'm like able to brush down the brown part of it, but like the wiry part just like will stand at it. Well, I guess
we will never.
We'll never know for sure.
We were accompanied today by the Brussels Chamber Choir, and so thank you, Brussels Chamber Choir. Mark, let's do it. Let's get into the news.
Nintendo recently announced their second quarter financial results, and with that, we got a bunch of tidbits of information on a variety of subjects from Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa. So this is just kind of like a grab bag of small little news morsels.
Yeah, and then we're going to take those morsels and we're going to chew them up, partially digest them, and then we're going to position ourselves over your little birdie mouths, and we're going to regurgitate them into your birdie mouths.
No different than what we do every other week. While discussing the performance of Labo, Furukawa notes that Labo was only one way the company is looking to expand the Switch user base outside of players interested in its core franchises, and that more details on what those other initiatives might be will be coming in the future.
Brain Age 3?
Yeah. The thing I love about it is, like, with Labo, it's not like nobody called Labo. Nobody was no YouTube channel. You know.
Yeah, that's right. And no influence. Yeah, no one in the industry was like, hey, you know what Nintendo's going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to combine crafts with video games.
So I can't wait to find out what this is.
Yeah, crazy stuff, I bet.
Nintendo plans to continue to sell and support the 3DS for as long as there's demand. Furukawa noted specifically that the 3DS has several advantages over the Switch, such as its size, its weight, and its price, and honestly, its library at this point.
Yeah, well, and I would also say durability, too. Like, not that the Switch is a fragile, flower that will die if you, take it on a plane with you, but, like, I still treat I treat my 3DS like
garbage.
Like garbage. I throw it into a backpack. I don't think twice about that backpack when I get in somewhere. Like, it's fine. It can go in pants. It's such a durable machine.
Yeah, I would never like toss my Switch onto the couch or the bed or something, but the 3DS, I'm just like chucking that thing.
Yeah, agreed. I wish that they made like a super strong like actually durable 3DS that like, cuz it is durable, but like one that looked that way and like felt that way, so I could just like genuinely treat it like shit.
Those like the iPad or like phone cases they have that I don't know, it makes them like OtterBox or something.
Yeah, sure.
That are like for construction foremen.
Yes,
that's what we need for the 3DS.
Like
want. Indestructible. I could back up a monster truck over it, and the thing will still play Mario Kart 7.
If it could be waterproof too, let me take it in the tub.
On the subject of third-party support, Furukawa said that it's unrealistic to expect every title to appear on Switch, but that
you hear that, everyone?
But that he expects the number of titles on it will increase a lot more in the future.
Seems
reasonable,
logical, and
I feel like we already see some of that.
Yeah. We
also
were just playing Diablo 3
Yeah.
on this thing. So,
Who would have ever guessed 2 years ago? We also learned that Fortnite has been downloaded to close to half of all Switch systems worldwide.
Well, when you're A, the most popular game in the world, and B, free,
it's a no-brainer.
It seems like a no-brainer.
Do you have it downloaded on your system?
No, so we are perfectly representative of all Switch owners.
Yeah, I do, exactly. As always.
That's right.
I actually don't have it any longer because
Mm.
I'm pretty quick to archive games.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I haven't played this for a while. Like, why is it sitting on my hard drive? I can download it again
Right.
in the future. Fortnite is not going anywhere. It'll outlive this show for sure.
Has it done 200 episodes? I don't think so.
No. Lazy. Discussing the recently launched Nintendo Switch Online service, Furukawa stated that the service, quote, had a good launch and that Nintendo's current I have objection here, but that's not the word. Objective, that's it. Is on boosting the appeal of the service and further enhancing the content of the service for the subscriber base to reach a certain size. He mentioned the NES controllers that are Nintendo Switch Online subscriber exclusives. As an example of the way that Nintendo can leverage the service to their benefit as like a software and hardware company, how they do both. Did those things sell out? Like, what's the deal? Like, can you? Could you like try to buy them right now?
I'm sure you could. I bet that the way that they are structuring it, you have to be a subscriber, and then you order them, and they come like 2 months later.
Well, that's because we ordered it in September. But I wonder if you like tried to order it now.
I mean,
when it would come.
Yeah, that's a good question. I assume that they were mostly doing like made to order, right? That like they know that they're going to have this many that they need. They're just going to produce that many and send them out.
Oh, sure.
Like because it's not going to be at least not right away. Maybe in the future. It's not going to be something that you'll buy in a store. Like it's always going to be something that you're buying direct from Nintendo.
I totally forgot that I had ordered those.
Me too.
Or I guess like I remember that I ordered them, but I forgot that that they existed at all.
Sure.
I am excited to get it next month.
Yeah, me too. So obviously, I mentioned I was playing Super Mario Brothers 2, and Sarah's been playing a lot of Dr. Mario lately. And both of those games we have been playing on the NES Classic. And Super Mario is already on the Switch. But part of the reason that she's not playing it on the Switch is that like she doesn't want to play with the Joy-Con, which I get. But hey, if we've got the NES controllers for it, that solves the problem right there.
Exactly.
Do you think, Mark, this leads us to future NES controllers coming to the NES Online Switch thing?
Explain.
A zapper. Can I get the zapper?
You have to like dock in the Joy-Con like it's like
yes.
two gun holsters.
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Look,
what I would love is like
a power pad?
Yeah. 2 power pads, just like flappy like Dumbo ears to dock to the side of your Switch.
That'd be perfect.
GameCube controllers. Give me a game, or not controllers. Give me like a GameCube controller. I feel like that was like the first thing somebody mocked up when the Switch was announced.
Yeah,
I still want it.
If you just really all you need to do is make the A button big, and the right thumbstick needs to be yellow, and you're done.
Furukawa mentioned a similar strategy for other previous released Nintendo Switch games. He called titles like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe hardware drivers, in that those games cause people to buy the systems. Furukawa went on to explain that one way they can keep those games in the spotlight is by offering add-on content for them.
Right. So basically having this is the same as the NES Online thing in that it is a service that they already provide or a product they already provide they plan to support into the future. Now, I know that we have been told that the Champion's Ballad is the last of the Breath of the Wild DLC. Mark, what if that's not true?
I'm thinking it's more likely that we'll see more Odyssey content.
I think that would be great. I would love more Odyssey content. I don't know that Breath of the Wild needs to be bigger. I love that game, but at some point I will go back to it fresh and like play it new. And when I do that, like necessarily need a reason to go back into the game for 4 hours in like a couple months. I would almost rather forget about the game and then someday, 3 years down the road, be like, oh man, Breath of the Wild, and then play it and re-love it all over again. And that may be more than 4 years. Oh, that may be at like 10 years down the road, at which point I will be a very old man. But yeah, I think there's more room to just like get a new Mario thing and run around that.
Well, and kind of related to that, speaking about the difference in release lineup for Nintendo first parties between 2017 and 2018, Furukawa very politely, I'm summarizing here, was basically like, yeah, video games take a long time to make, so not every year is going to be like 2017 for us.
2017 was a great year for Nintendo games, and we're not likely to see a year like that again next year or the year after or for a while.
But like in addition to, I guess, like the B tier titles, by adding more content to Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that is just a way to extend the longevity of those games.
So bring them on. They're games that we already own, so I would love more stuff for them.
Speaking of B tier titles,
okay,
getting more content, Kirby Star Allies is getting a third major update later this month. It includes new Dream Friends like Magalore, Taranza, and Susie. I'm going to be honest, don't know what any of these things are.
Yeah, likewise. I don't know what any of those things are.
I do know they're from Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Kirby Triple Deluxe, and Planet Robobot, respectively. Also include a new Another Dimension Heroes mode that promises to be more difficult, where you play as like Dream Friends instead of Kirby, and it takes place after the main story. And then it also includes more difficult bosses. It's not clear to me if it's like new bosses or just the bosses,
more difficult versions of the existing bosses. I could stand to go back to Kirby Star Allies.
I don't know. I thought it was. I enjoyed my time with it, but there hasn't been anything.
You played this game mostly by yourself, yes?
I think exclusively by myself.
Okay, Mark, that's your problem. Because the game
is... I don't have enough friends.
You don't have enough friends. This is an intervention.
It took 199 episodes to get there. You were playing the long con.
That's right. I am a patient man.
Prima Games, publisher of strategy guides for over 28 years.
Wow.
Will be shutting down in spring 2019. Its parent company, DK, announced. And it makes sense. I'm actually kind of surprised that it was able to last for as long as it did.
Yeah, I mean, especially when between GameFAQs and like IGN's wikis,
and just like there are so many sites that do like every major site, like Polygon, usgamer.net, like they all also do guides, forums, your friend groups on Twitter or Discord or whatever.
And like all of this stuff is backed up by video too. So like if at any time you are confused about something in a video game, you do not need to go to a specialty store, buy a book about the game, bring the book home, look up where you are in the game, and hope that they have a tip relevant to what you're experiencing. Yeah, it's sort of just a relic of another time.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably more just like collector's items for people now, and for people who grew up with strategy guides, like owning the physical thing is probably just like fun for people.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked. I've had a number of strategy guides throughout the years, and I like having like a book that has additional art or like the maps of like the areas that I'm going through. For whatever reason, I enjoyed having that to like take with me as a kid when like I wasn't going to be home and couldn't play Final Fantasy 3, or whatever. Like I could still experience the game in some capacity, or be like reading through the Esper stats and be like, oh, I should really be equipping this on this person and that kind of stuff. But I'm actually, as I'm going through it, I don't know if any of those were Prima guides. I had a lot of Nintendo Power guides. And I had a Final Fantasy VII guide that was written like based on the Japanese version of the game, and was like so focused on like the strategy of the game and like how to grow materia in specific ways. And I just remember really loving that strategy guide. But Yeah, none of them were Prima.
I mean, there used to be many more players in that space, and Prima was kind of just like the last man standing.
Yeah. I still think that there could be a like market for a like game guide company that like works with the actual like maybe with like indie games or something like that to provide more like concept art and I don't know, just something that's more of like a companion piece than an actual strategy guide.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like you're
It
describing
sounds like
a
website. Yeah.
or just like a collector's,
Yeah.
making of or the art of books.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about a leak suggesting a YouTube app was coming to Switch, and look, if we say it, it happens. And the YouTube app did launch on Switch this week.
There we go.
So
leaks you can believe
good for us. It's a fitting time with the new streaming services ascendant to bid adieu to the Wii's streaming services.
You say streaming service is ascendant. It's really just like we've had Hulu on there for a while.
Uh-huh.
And now we've got YouTube.
Uh-huh.
There have been no leaks or any reporting of like Netflix coming or like HBO Go or anything like that.
Right, but like in comparison to the Wii.
Right, which is losing but it's also the Wii.
Let's not get mired in the details.
All right.
The Wii's streaming services are shutting down on January 31st of next year, according to an email that was sent out to subscribers by Netflix.
A huge blow to my peers' parents everywhere.
No, it's so true.
Everyone's parents uses their Wii for Netflix now.
For a good old, like, 480i output.
Man, that was so impressive. The first time we put the disc in and then watch Netflix on the Wii.
Amazing. Last week, we also talked about the top 10 games on the N64 and Game Boy Color as reported by NPD. And this week, the company revealed the best-selling games in the U.S. for each year since 1995.
Wow.
Patrick, do you want to try to guess what some of these are? But here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Is that, before you can even answer.
Right.
2017 to 2014.
All Call of Duty games.
All Call of Duty. 2013 is Grand Theft Auto 5. 2012 to 2009. All Call of Duty.
Okay.
But 1996, 97, 98, 99, and 2000, those were all N64 games. Were the best selling for the year.
Wow.
So
okay.
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. 2000.
Oh, can we start at the bottom? Can
sure.
We start at 1995?
You can try guessing 1995. Sure, it's not a Nintendo first party game.
Oh, it's not GoldenEye.
1995.
Oh, I don't know.
Mortal Kombat 3.
Mortal Kombat 3?
I know, right? Okay, 1996. That's the year that the N64 launched.
Okay.
Wink, 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 wink.
Okay, so Super Mario 64.
Yes. Okay, 1997.
Mario Kart.
Yes.
There's Mario Kart 64.
Yes.
Yeah.
1998.
Is this GoldenEye?
No. GoldenEye's not on this list.
Oh, okay. 98. Ocarina of Time.
Yep, that's right. 1999. This is a garbage game.
Quest 64.
Pretty much, it's Donkey Kong 64. And then 2000. This one's actually kind of surprising. It's a spin-off of a beloved franchise.
Diddy Kong Racing.
No, it's Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium was the best-selling game in the U.S. in the year
2000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who would have thunk it?
Mark, thank you. That was a fun game that I did okay at.
Also, last week during the Smash Direct, we learned about DLC that would add 5 new fighters into the game post-launch. Smash guru Masahiro Sakurai tweeted out some additional details on the DLC, noting that the characters to be included have already been decided and that the selection was done entirely by Nintendo, which is an interesting distinction to make, if nothing else.
Yeah, what do you think that means, entirely by Nintendo?
That
like maybe he had some requests and they were like, here are the characters that we've secured the rights to or like want you to push.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like they were like, here are the 5.
Right. Here are the 5. We've decided these characters will go in Smash. Or, I mean, he said that they provided him with like a list, and he said, given the style of play for those characters and this game, these 5 will work.
So there was a fan ballot for Smash 4 for the Smash 4 DLC.
Right.
Were like the results of that? Did they actually affect change?
No one knows. I mean, Cloud was one of the heavily requested ones, as was Bayonetta. So we got those characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe it affected, but who knows?
Right,
like,
sure.
Who knows if that actually drove them to be like, oh, get Square Enix on the phone?
Yeah, or if they rigged the polls.
Oh.
To be characters that they were already developing. Deep sigh.
I think it's just a fun way to engage fans and be like, which characters would you like to see in this game?
Kind of like we do with our ranking episodes.
Absolutely. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Our lists, of course, are definitive, as are all of our rankings. But they don't mean anything.
This message was tweeted out from Sakurai and Sora's official Twitter account in both English and Japanese. The following was only tweeted in English, quote, "It's great to dream about your favorite character joining the battle, and I appreciate your passion, but please try to stay on topic when replying to tweets and refrain from flooding us and other users with requests when we're not specifically asking for feedback. Thank you."
Hear that, English-speaking audience? You're asking for too much stuff. The Japanese-speaking audience is cool about it. You don't need
Sometimes the teacher needs to take a different tone.
That's true.
Yep.
Be like, hey guys, look, I know you wanted to see Banjo in this game. He's not here. Get over it.
Yeah.
And maybe he will be. Who knows?
Speaking of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of Mr. Game & Watch's moves and references. The move, it like references the 1982 Game & Watch game. His move Fire Attack has been altered. Will be altered to remove references to Native American stereotypes. The move did not appear in previous versions of the game, but the offending sprite, once it was brought to Nintendo's attention, an update that will come post-launch will remove it from the game.
Right. So any time that Game & Watch has appeared in the Smash series, he has not had this move. They put it in this one, and then someone was like, "Hey, it's a little bit offensive when he like has a feather coming out of his head and like he's got
it's like throwing fire or something like that."
So they pulled it out and like issued a statement being like, it's a reference to a game from like 30 years ago, and that's that who we are now is not who we were then. So we changed it,
and I think that's really cool of them.
Yeah, and also just like a great like mature like, oh yeah, this is not a hill to die on. If it's gonna upset anyone, who cares?
Yeah,
take it out.
Finally, there's a Splatfest coming this weekend. Team Salsa versus Team Guacamole.
Oh my gosh.
Kicks off November 16th at 8 p.m. Pacific time and ends 24 hours later. Patrick, if you had to choose.
Guacamole.
Fair. Once again, we represent 50% of the Switch user base. I, of course, would be Team Salsa.
Of course would be Team Salsa.
Yeah. It's a delicious condiment, topping, and a dance. Nobody's doing the guacamole.
No, but I bet you could, and it would be delicious. All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All of that helps us tremendously. If you like the episode, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter or any social media platform, or just by leaning over to the person that you're sitting next to and saying, hey, check out this fun podcast I'm listening to. We'll wait for you to do that and put your headphones on their ears. And then we'll welcome a new listener. Hello, new listener. Hey, subscribe to our show on your device. Anyway, that all is great. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society.
Oh, and hey, come back for our 200th episode spectacular on Thursday.
200 episodes. You know that we will do something to celebrate it. We got to figure that out, Mark. If you like Mark and Mine's opinions, we write about comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers, removing all offensive Native American stereotypes from this show and saying thanks for listening.
Campfire.